Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So student, in the previous class in this chapter, that is tissue, we have started with the complex permanent tissue. Already we have understood the simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma student, these are having a lot of a power of division. Collenchyma, which are thick as well as thin also, so they are consisting of the living cells as well as the dead cells are also there. And sclerenchyma, the sclerenchyma are basically dead cells consisting of the tissues which consisting of dead cells, and they are there in order to provide the mechanical strength and support to the plant. Then we have understood the complex permanent tissue, and in that we have started with the xylem and phloem. Xylem students, the role of a xylem in the plant, that it helps in taking the void, helping the conduction of the water and mineral from the plant, from the roots to the stem of the plant. So these are having some of the elements which are responsible for carrying the water and minerals. These elements can be xylem vessel, it can be xylem tracheates, it can be xylem parenchyma, or it can be xylem fibers. So these are the different types of xylem elements are there, which basically used to help in the conduction of the water students. So we have understood here few things, that what is xylem tracheates, what is xylem vessels, as well as what is xylem parenchyma and sclerenchyma. You see students, up to now we have understood the xylem fibers, what are xylem fibers and what is its root. Okay. In case of a tracheates and vessel student, both of them are responsible for carrying the water. All the tracheates are present in the gymnosperms, and the vessels, they are highly developed, consisting of a elongated cylindrical structure is there, which are placed one over the other. It is also having the pits through which the water flow can easily happens, and the vessels are mainly present in the angiospermic plants. Xylem fiber, these are what? These are the sclerenchymatous tissue which are made up of dead cells, and they are responsible for giving mechanical strength to the plant. They are there to provide the mechanical support. Then xylem parenchyma. So let us see that what is xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma is what? Basically it is a living cell which consisting of a nucleus and cytoplasm. So when you look at the structure of this, you will find that it will be arranged like this, and everywhere here a nucleus will be there and the cytoplasm is also present. Here also the nucleus is there and cytoplasm is also there. Okay, so this is how the nucleus and the cytoplasm present in that of the xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma. So you see, in case of a xylem parenchyma, student, the first point, it is also called as wound parenchyma. These are also called as wound parenchyma. Okay, these are also called as wound parenchyma. Now these xylem parenchyma, they are also living cells. These are the only living cell in the xylem tissue. These are the only living cell in a xylem tissues. You see that when we have seen the xylem fiber or the sclerates or the vessel, all the three were what? These all are the dead cells. Okay, they do not have a nucleus, they do not have a cytoplasm, but the xylem parenchyma, this is the what? This is the living cell, and that is why it is written that these are what? These are the only living cell in the xylem tissue. Then what is the main function then? Obviously if it is living, it will help in the storing the food in it. So the main function of wood parenchyma is to store fats or starch. Fats and starch. Is to store fats and starch. It also helps in the conduction of water. So we can say here that yes, it is also helpful in the conduction of water, students. So this is the xylem parenchyma, okay, which is consisting of the nucleus having a prominent protoplasm, which make it a living cell, and finally with the living, it then means it will help in the conduction of water as well as it help in storing the food material in it. Okay, this is the xylem parenchyma. Now this is all about the elements which is a part of the xylem tissues. Now moving on, and we will see the next conducting tissue, next complex permanent tissue, which is called as phloem. Xylem, they were responsible for carrying out the water and minerals. Phloem, they are responsible for carrying the food from the one part to the other, from the leaves to the different parts of the body. So for that there is a need of a conducting tube, and this conducting tube is called as a phloem. If you see phloem is also consisting of a different elements, and these are divided into sieve tubes are there, then phloem fiber is also there, then companion cells are there, and finally phloem parenchyma is there. These are also the 4 elements of a phloem. And yes, the function is the same, that it helps in carrying the food material from the one part to other part. So let us start with the next complex permanent tissue, which is called as phloem. Phloem, students. In case of a phloem, this is helpful to transport. It helps to transport food and solute. Food and solute. Food and solute throughout the plant body. Throughout the plant. So its role is to, the food which is now prepared in the leaves, it is to be carried to the different parts with the help of the phloem, students. Now this will be carried by the different phloem elements. So phloem consisting of 4 different types of elements. The first one is sieve tubes. The second one is companion cell. Then the third one is phloem fibers. And the fourth one is phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. These are what? These are the 4 elements of the phloem. Starting with the first one, student, and that is the sieve tubes. So these sieve tubes are, it is an elongated like a tubes which basically having the thin cellulosic wall. It means it is the living only, and the sieve tubes, they are consisting of So these sieve tubes are actually, they are elongated structure, they are tube like a structure, that's why the name is also given sieve tubes. These sieve tubes, when they are connected over one another, the sieve plates are there, which is actually the connection between the two sieve tubes. These sieve plates are actually perforated plates, they are having pores in it, and due to which the food molecules can move from one sieve tube to the other sieve tube. So let us start and see that what is the sieve tubes and what are the different characteristics of a sieve tube. So first one is sieve tubes. So here the first point is these are what? These are elongated these are elongated tube like living cells. Tube like living cells. These are the tube like living cells. These may be cylindrical or oval in shape. These may be cylindrical or oval in shape. Cylindrical or oval in shape. So basically when you look at the structure, students, you will find that it may be cylindrical or it can be oval in shape. Let me draw the structure. When you see it, it will be like so you will find here in case of a sieve tubes, this, and along with it there is a companion cell also which is attached with it. But here in the case of a sieve tube, students, what you will find that this is the sieve tube. This is perforated plate. This is the perforated plate. So the sieve tube, it may be cylindrical or it can be oval in shape. The next one, they have a thin cellulosic wall. These have thin cellulosic wall. These have a thin cellulosic wall and are placed end to end. And are placed end to end. Okay, so when you look at it, you will find that this is the cylindrical in shape and they are placed one over the other. And here the wall of these sieve cells, that is cellulosic wall, and consisting of a cellulose in it. So they are what? They are the thin wall, we can say here. Okay. At maturity, they are non-nucleated, but yes, they consisting of a large vacuole in it. At maturity, they are non-nucleated. It means does not consisting of a nucleus in it. Non-nucleated, but have a vacuole in it, but it is having a vacuole in it, students. Okay. Between the sieve tubes, you will find that they are the perforated plates, and these perforated plates are responsible for taking the food from the one end to the other end. So, between the two sieve tubes, there are perforated sieve plates. Which helps in the conduction of food. Conduction of food occurs. Conduction of the food, that's it. It shall be the conduction of food. Okay, so this is about the sieve tubes, that yes, it is non-nucleated at maturity, but consisting of a vacuole, consisting of a sieve plate which is perforated, which is consisting of a pores, and because of the perforation that will help in the movement of the or conduction of the food from the one sieve plate to the another, and ultimately the food will reaches to its place. Okay, so this is how the sieve tubes or phloem tubes help in the movement of the food, help in the conduction of the food. The next is companion cells. Although the companion cells is attached with the sieve tubes only. These are what? These are living cells consisting of a nucleus and help in providing the help in the conduction of the food, and even it help in nurturing the sieve tubes. Companion cells. Looking at the structure, you will find that this is a kind of a this is the nucleus, cytoplasm, nucleus, cytoplasm, nucleus, cytoplasm, then this whole is what? Companions. In case of a companion cell, these are what? Associated with sieve tubes. When you look at the structure, you will find that this is basically present with the tubes only. They are attached with the sieve tubes only, like this. Okay? These are attached with the sieve tubes only. Okay? And help in providing the and giving food or help in nurturing the sieve plates. Okay, so that's why it is written that these cells are associated with the sieve tubes, sieve tubes, and placed side by side with them, They are placed side by side with them. Companion cell, when you look at the structure, they are long, elongated, narrow, long, elongated, narrow, thin-walled, living and nucleated cell. Nucleated cell. These are attached, associated at the side of the sieve tubes, and they are long. When you look at the structure, you can see it is long, it is narrow, they are thin walled, it means cellulosic wall again, living, and obviously if it is a thin wall, so it will be living only and consisting of a nucleus, so nucleated. Okay, this is the companion cell. What is the role of the companion cell? It will help the sieve tube for the conduction of food. Helps sieve tubes in the conduction of food. So its role is to help sieve tube in the conduction of food. The next one is the phloem fiber, which is also called as bast fiber. Okay, phloem fiber or bast fiber. Phloem fiber or bast fiber. These are what? These are long, elongated and lignified walled structure. Lignified, it means again it is a sclerenchymatous. You see this xylem fiber and the phloem fiber we have studied in the sclerenchymatous tissue. So yes, obviously phloem fibers comes in the sclerenchymatous tissue, in the category of a sclerenchymatous tissue. So these are elongated cells having lignified wall, having lignified walls with the pits. Having lignified walls with the pits. Then obviously they are lignified, so they are dead. Dead means sclerenchymatous tissue. They are sclerenchymatous. Now, if they are sclerenchymatous, obviously they will provide the mechanical support to the plant. So, they provide the mechanical support. So, we can say here that these are what the phloem fibers are what? These are the elongated cells. They are lignified cells. Means they are lignified. The walls are lignified. The lignification is done due to which the cell is what? It is dead cell, and you know that this lignification we have seen in case of sclerenchymatous tissue. So it will be sclerenchymatous also. And if it is dead, if it is a sclerenchymatous, so what will be its role? Its role is to provide mechanical support to the plant. So this is the function of the phloem fiber. Finally, phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. Parenchyma, so obviously it will be living. It will be consisting of a cellulosic wall. So the first one, it consisting of a elongated points. These consist of elongated pointed thin-walled parenchymatous cells. Parenchymatous cells. This is absent in monocots. It is absent in the monocots. And finally, it helps in conduction. It helps in conduction and food storage. Its role that it helps in the conduction as well as in the food storage. This is the function of the phloem parenchyma. So we have understood till now that what are the different complex tissues, what are the different elements of these complex tissues. Xylem, it is divided into xylem fiber, xylem parenchyma, then xylem tracheates are there and xylem vessels are also there. In case of a phloem, sieve plates are there, which is also called as sieve tubes. Then phloem parenchyma is there, phloem fiber is there, and companion cells. These are the 4 different elements of the xylem and phloem, and yes, all of them will help in the conduction of the water or conduction of the food, and that is why both of them are also called as a conducting vessels or conducting tissues in the plant. Okay, so this is all about the complex permanent tissue. Now talking about that, there are some of the protective tissues are also there in the plant, and which will include the epidermis and the cork cell. This is the last kind of a tissue in the plant. So protective tissue. Protective tissues. So protective tissues is what which is basically present at the peripheral region only, peripheral or the tip of the plant. So it will be what? Epidermis or the cork cell. Let us start with the epidermis. Epidermis, the name itself says a lot of a thing. Epidermis. Dermis means skin. It means layer, outer layer, and epi means upper. So upper layer of the skin of the plant or upper layer of the plant, that is the epidermis. So this is what it is. What it is, the outermost layer of the plant, and if it will be outermost, it will be what? It is the aerial part of the plant, continuous layer of the plant, and that will help in the protection of the plants. The first one, it is the outermost layer of the plant. Outermost layer of the plant. It provides protection to the internal tissue. It provides protection to the internal tissue. It provides protection to the internal tissues only. And the root mainly consisting of the root hair. So the root hair is what? It is the outermost part, and that will help in the absorption. So it can be root hair. Now lenticels are also there, which is present at the outermost surface of the stem. Guard cells are there which is present in the stomata, help in the transpiration process. So a lot of different substances, a lot of different layers are present over on the epidermis, and it is having different role, different functions.